තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Okay. Good evening. Today, normally first Saturday of September. It is Children's Day, I think, for us. Right? Every year, we used to gather all of our children here before we go back to school. So that is the day that we share the blessings, reminding ourselves what we are going to do, and before that we all come to the temple and make offerings and get the blessings from chanting sutras of blessing, and this is normal do. But today, what happened to our friends? Maybe they are not around. However, now 4 of you are here. I think 4? How many? Yeah. Okay, let's begin anyway. So all of you have to share with your friends, inform them, talk to them, and share what you did. Okay? Always we all need spiritual blessings for that. Let's begin this evening. Say sadhu and say namo tassa 3 times to observe panchasila, 5 precepts. පූජ කළ වාඩි වෙන්නකෝ. හොඳයි. එහෙනම් පුංචි දරුවෝ කවුරු හයියෙන් සාදු කියලා නමෝ තස්ස කියන 3 සැරයක්
බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami තතියම්පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි පාණාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි අදින්නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි
Venerable members of the Mahasangha, dear friends of the Dhamma, in this evening, all you gathered here for a special ceremony. It is blessing ceremony. Before you start your new school semester, normally our Dhamma school and also youth society children and parents, they gathered here and by offering Buddha Puja and doing many religious activities and also listening to the chanting, you are receiving blessing. That's why you came here. First of all, you observed 5 precepts, been on a virtuous ground. Now we will dedicate these flowers, candlelights and soft drinks to the Buddha, recalling Buddha's good virtuosities. As you know, Buddha is no more. He passed away more than 2,500 years ago. But still, everywhere in the world, Buddhist and non-Buddhist people, they respect and venerate to the Buddha by recalling Buddha's good virtuosities. To become Buddhahood, Buddha practiced 10 perfection, generosity, morality, truthfulness and so forth. And after attaining enlightenment, he pervaded loving kindness toward all living beings. And also, Buddha taught us the great Dhamma. That's why still everywhere in the world people respect the Buddha and offer to the Buddha. By offering and respecting to the Buddha, we can purify our mind and soul so we can accumulate merits. Merits mean wholesome thoughts. These wholesome thoughts will bring happiness into our lives in this and also next. So I wish all of you, by the power of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well, happy and peace. And also by the power of merit that you acquired, may all beings be well and happy. May all deities who protect this world, may all they attain ultimate bliss of Nibbana. Having that aspiration, please join us to recite these stanzas to dedicate this puja to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. ඉතිපිසෝ භගවාන් අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විජ්ජාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ සාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති ස්වාකාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සංදිට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ එහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං බෝවිඤ්ඤුයිති සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුග්ගලායේස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි අනුත්තරම් පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති ඝනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදන්සිනාති ලෝකදීපං සම්බුද්ධං පුමිතමුනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාරයුත්තේන දුපේනාහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයං තං භාජන මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරි සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පම්මිලායාති කායෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං අනන්ත ඥානෝ විමලෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ ගුණාකරෝ පතිගන්හාතු භගවා දක්ඛිනක මුත්තමං අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ භේසජ්ජම් පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තමං අත්වාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ භේසජ්ජම් පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං දාය පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තමං අදිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ භේසජ්ජම් පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තමං සුගන්ධං සීතලං කප්පං පසන්න මధుරං සුභං පානීයමේතම් භගවා නාතු මුත්තමං වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේසු පතිට්ඨිතං මහාබෝධින් බුද්ධරූපං සකලං සදා කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං අන්තේ බුරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා සංකම මේ ධම්ම සම්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කම සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර සාදු 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 ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං දුලෝක සාසනං කාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං දිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාති සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හෝතු ච පීතෝ භවතු ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයාවහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුඤ්චතු සාදු සාදු සාදු. Yes, dear friends, now we monks are going to bless you by chanting. We are wishing by the power of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well, happy and peace. May you have courage, patience, understanding and determination to overcome any kind of problems in your life, especially our children. Today is our Children's Day. We are blessing all of you. You have courage and also patience and also having good effort to get good grade in your classroom and to have that ability and strength. We are wishing, may you be well, happy and peace. Having that aspiration, please listen to the chanting. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagavan arahang samma sambuddho vijjācarana Sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanam buddho bhagavati svakato Dhammo sangditteko akaliko ehi passiko panayiko paccattang veditabbo Viti supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho ñāya Bhagavato sāvaka sangho sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho yadidang cattari Atta purisa puggalaesa bhagavato sāvaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරම් පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන පාතු ත්වං රතනත්තයං තේන සච්ච පාතු ත්වං රතනත්තයං තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන පාතු ත්වං රතනත්තයං කරණීය මත්ත කුසලේන යං තං සන්තං මෙච්ච සක්කෝ මුජෝච සෝජෝච සුවචෝ චස්ස මුදු අනතිමානී සංතුස්සකෝච සුබරෝච අප්පකිච්චෝච සල්ල සංතින්ද්‍රියෝච නිපකෝච අප්පගබ්බෝ කුලේසු අනනුගිද්දෝ නච කුද්දං සමාචරේ කිංචියේන විඤ්ඤෝ පරේ උපම තුකිනෝ වාකේමිනෝ හොන්තු සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු දුකිතත්තා ඒකේ චිපාන භූතත්ති තසාවා සේසාදීගාවායේ මහන්තාවා මජ්ජිමා රස්සකානුකතුලා දිට්ඨාවායේව අද්දිට්ඨායේච දුරේ වසන්ති භූතාවා සම්භවේසීවා සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතත්තා නපරෝ පරන්නි කුබ්බේත නාති මඤ්ඤේත කත්ත චිනං කංචි ව්‍යාරෝසනා නාඤ්ඤ මඤ්ඤස්ස දුක්ඛ මිච්ඡේය මාතා යථා නියම් පුත්තං ආයුසා ඒක පුත්ත මනුරක්ඛේ වම්පි සබ්බ මාන සම්භාවයෙන් අපරිමාණං මෙත්තංච සබ්බ ලෝකස්මින් මාන සම්භාවයේ අපරිමාණං උද්ධං අදෝච අසම්බාධං අවේරං අසපත්තම් තිට්ඨං චරන්නිසින්නෝ වාසයානෝ වායාව තස්ස විගත මිද්දෝ ඒතං සතින් බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමාහූ දෙට්ඨෙන් ච අනුපගම්ම සීලවාදස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනෙය්‍ය ජාතු ගබ්බසෙය්‍යං පුනරේතිති තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ දුක්ඛං විනස්සතු තේන සච්ච සබ්බ භයං විනස්සතු තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මහා කරුණිකෝ නාතෝ හිතාය සබ්බ පුරෙත්වා පාරමී සබ්බාපත්තෝ සම්බෝධි මුත්තමං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝත් ජය මංගලං ජයන්තෝ බෝධියාමූලේ සක්ඛ්‍යානං අංදිවද්දනෝ එවං තුයිහං ජයෝ හෝතු ජයස්සු සක්කත්වා බුද්ධ රතනං ඕසදං උත්තමං වරං හිතං දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධ තේජේන සොත්තිනානස්සං පද්දවා දුක්ඛාවූපසමෙන්තු තේ සක්කත්වා ධම්ම රතනං ඕසදං උත්තමං වරං පරිලාහූපසමනම් ධම්ම නස්සංතු පද්දවා සබ්බේ භයාවූප සමෙන්තු තේ සක්කත්වා සංඝරතනං ඕසදං උත්තමං වරං යම්පාහුනෙයං සංඝතේජේන සොත්තිනානස්සම්තු පද්දවා සබ්බේ රෝගාවූප සමෙන්තු තේ අංකින්චි රතනන් ලෝකේ විජ්ජති රතනං බුද්ධ සමං නත්ථි තස්මා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ අංකින්චි රතනං ලෝකේ විජ්ජති විවිධා පුතු රතනං ධම්ම සමං නත්ථි භවන්තු තේ අංකින්චි රතනං ලෝකේ විජ්ජති විවිධා පුතු රතනං සංඝ සමං නත්ථි තස්මා භවන්තු තේ නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං බුද්ධෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මංගලං නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං ධම්මෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු තේ ජය නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං සංඝෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං සබ්බීතියෝ විවජ්ජන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මාතේ භවත්වන්තරායෝ දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති තුතේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ගානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ. Yes, dear Dhamma friends, today we invited Kondanya Hamdru. Please come here and give a brief Dhamma talk in front of our children and parents. Accepting our invitation, Kondanya Hamdru came here, and Kondanya Hamdru is ready to give a Dhamma talk. And so on behalf of Vihara monks and on behalf of our children and parents, warmly welcome and most respectfully I invite Kondanya Hamdru, please give a Dhamma talk, and thank you very much.
Oh, no, have the idea. No. Dan pernah lagi berhan. Saya pernah. හොඳයි. 。 Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Natang kammang katang sadhu yang katva anutappati yassa assu mukho rodhang vipakang patisevati. So, good evening, dear children. I'm happy at least now our number has gone up a little bit. I was kind of worrying, thinking, where did all the children go? So, normally we have a lot of children in Dhamma school, right? But however, I'm happy that you are here. So, I do not want to tell you a long story. We want to have a discussion. I want you to participate in it. Otherwise, just thinking of blessing, if you say that blessing comes itself, no, it doesn't happen. We have to work on it, right? All of us should be participating, and then we learn something. Otherwise, I maybe keep talking, no benefit, right? Some of you know a lot of Dhamma, some of you are new to it, right? Some of you have forgotten it, right? Many of you. I know that for 2 months, nearly 2.5 months, you were away from Dhamma school, you are away from school. So what you have learned, I believe most of them has gone away from you, right? How many of you remember things that you learned? Okay, some of you remember, good. Let's see how things. So you have to ready to ask questions. From questions we learn always, and also you are giving opportunity to learn to others too. From your question, other people also learn. So I recited the Gatha, one of the stanzas that Buddha said, right? We always come to Dhamma school and we be respectful. We are practicing certain way to behave in the temple. And also Buddha Sadhu's teaching also for us to modify our behavior. Why I say modify? Why do we have to modify? Sometimes we do things we forget, even though we're supposed to be mindful. I think all of you have some goals for this new semester. Go to school, and what are the goals that you have? What do you want to do in the school? What do you want for you to gain in this new academic year? Anybody has any idea? Yes. Good grades? Who else? Did you get bad grades last semester? No, right? You have to continue. So grades are important to you. What else are important to you? Yes. In the life, everyday life. I'm happy about that. Yes. Who else? What are the other goals that you have? You know, I like all of you to be nice children, trouble-free, without being burdened to others. If you can mindfully practicing Dhamma, that's how we practice it. We are not disturbing anybody else in our school, in the class, right? Can we do that? I don't think that any of you do that, make any troubles in schools. But mindfully, if you work, right? So whatever you can share with the other children, you can do that. You can share your knowledge. If anybody needs help, you can do it. And so if you practice, not just running around, but listen to your teachers very carefully, right? By listening, we learn a lot, right? So we are not crazy for the grades, but when you do listen carefully and do your work, studies, definitely you will get good grades. So you can achieve your goals. But also would be nice, I want to be a really nice person in our school, well-disciplined person in the school, right? So these 5 principles that we observe, you remind yourself of, would be very helpful for you. So what I said was in the Asagatha, I said, Natang kammang katang sadhu, is not nice to do that kind of action, right? What kind of action? If you later on, if you regret on it, right? If you happen to regret, if you feel bad about it. So that kind of actions we should not do. How do we active in our lives? How do we active? In everyday life we are active. How? 3 different ways we are active, right? What are they? We do physical actions, right? Physical activities. We do verbal actions. By words we say things, right? Mental actions, we think. So these are the 3 different ways. And again, those 3 different actions could be positives, negatives. Then what are we supposed to do? Positive things, right? Not bad things, good things. If you do good things, either physically, mentally, or verbally, we will not feel bad about it. If you do anything bad, hurting other people, then we would be doing, later on we will feel bad about this. We reflect back always. Sometimes, when we look back to it, we will start tearing. If tear comes out from your eyes, that means that you have not done something. You have done something wrong. It could be at home. It could be at school too. It could be among your friends, from in the class, wherever it is. So therefore, Buddha Sadhu said, do not do such actions, either mentally, physically, or verbally. How do we do actions mentally? Yes. Okay. Yes. Should not think about other people? Bad about other people, right? So, what could be the good things that we think? You always do that. When you're in Dhamma school, you do those things. Yes. Very simple. That's what we call as metta, right? We always practice every day when you're Dhamma school, either afterwards or before we begin, we do practice metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, wishing wellness and happiness to others. Very, very briefly what we say is, as in the Metta Sutta we said, Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings have happy minds. May all beings be well and happy. Right? That's how we say. Very brief. Like a mantra, we can say, always can say it. In your mind, we can say it. Sometimes we get angry. We get upset because lack of mindfulness causes us to get angry, get upset. Then you are angry for a while. Sometimes you may be even getting angry with your mom or dad, or your brother or sister, right? Any of you there that you have that experience? Getting angry with other people? You are, right? How long does it take for you to cool down? A day? That's long, right? Huh? Depends on situation, exactly, yes. Yes. So we have to be very mindful of that. We are here to, why we are practicing Dhamma is for us to train ourselves, calm down or cool down ourselves faster. That is the purpose of practicing Dhamma, right? Dhamma we listen and we learn to practice, for nothing else. Who are we changing? Ourselves. We are not trying to change the other people around us, but if I can change myself, but the other person can be the mirror for you, that you have to remember. Maybe either your sister or brother could be a good mirror. How could it be a good mirror? When your brother or sister making fun of you, if you get angry, what happens? You can just see it as a, wow, I still have anger in me. Right? So that he or she is helping you to see it. We see our own weakness. Seeing our own weakness, we can correct ourselves. So therefore, I like to remind all these things to you because I want you to practice. Dhamma is to practice. I remind you for this reason. We are, year by year, you are growing up. As you grow up, you should be growing up with the Dhamma. As children who are coming to Dhamma school, so this is what we're supposed to do. We should be benefiting the Dhamma that we learn every day. Otherwise, no use. Right? Yes? You know, I was thinking this time to talk to you, all these things just reminding you. So, I think last year I was teaching you about 10 perfections. Anybody remember? So that's what I talked to you last year. Previous year, I cannot remember what I did talk. But I asked you to remember what I would ask this question, so you have to remember what we were talking about. I was thinking to talk to you about something also beneficial. So that Buddha talk about. There are particular discourses that he was encouraging us to practice, especially, in daily life. There's something called 4 qualities. Of course, you learn that those 4 qualities. And what we call as in the 4 ways of treating others. Satara Sangraha Vastu. 4 treatment, 4 kinder, gentler way of treating others. What are they? Yes. Those are also nice qualities to improve in addition to 5 precepts. Buddha talk about that a lot of times. Very important. Do you know why did he talk about it? I think you have heard many times. There are 3 root causes to get rid of them. Very important thing. That's why he talked about those things. From 5 precepts, we build up our kind of discipline that we have to have. And when we do practice these 4 qualities, 4 sublime state of mind, that's how they call it. But the 4 pleasant, what he did mention was that 4 ways of treating others means Satara Sanghavastu means it is coming in the Sigalovada Sutta. There are many things in that, but out of that I just pick up 4 things just to share with you. I think you know that one or two of them very well. Dana. All of you know that. What does dana means? Generosity, right? Sharing, caring, charity. Where does charity begin? Where does charity begin? Huh? Yeah, charity begins at home, right? You always say that's. I thought that you remember that. As a statement, we always say that charity begins at home. Being nice to each other, we can begin that. So, dana, whatever you have, you may be, when you hear the word dana, you may be thinking of temple. Is that the only dana? No. Whatever you share with kind heart, with compassion, that can be there, dana. Maybe in your school, you can practice it. Suppose you have 2 pencils and there's one child who does not have a pencil. Can you practice dana there? Yes. You can share what you have. You know, it's important to have papers and the pencils, pens, erasers. So if there's anybody who does not have it, maybe you can share what you have. That is dana, right? And also, suppose sometimes in your class you have a friend or a classmate who looks like very unhappy, very sad. What can you do? Sometimes maybe it is dangerous, sometimes may not. You can just think about if you could help, maybe why that person is sad. I don't know if it is, sometimes some people they like if you inquire about it. Why are you sad today? Maybe that person wants to share with you. But at least who are sitting close to you. You know each other in the classroom, right? Many children who are there, not to be nosy, but you can be just see if there's anything that you can do. If that is the situation, that also could be sharing your time. You are ready to share your time. Listen to that person. That person can, let out the problem or the pain that person has. It depends. According to, as she said, we are doing according to situation, we do things. Right? Always things are depending on situations. So therefore, we have to be mindfully look around and see what situation is there. So with understanding, you handle it. As I say this, it reminded me of a story when Buddhisadu was living. There's one king called Alavi. In the, I cannot remember the name, but in the, areas are the state. This person came to see the Buddha, provincial leader. He came to see the Buddha and with his people. Lot of people were there. Its number, it says 500 people came with this provincial leader or state leader. Having seen it, Buddha asked a question. What brought here you today? It seems that you have so many friends, people around. And to have that kind of retinue, we always say in our, culturally we say things that when you do nice things together with other people, giving opportunity to other people, that helps you to have a lot of friends. We call it parivara sampatti. Among many sampattis, right? Parivara. What does parivara means? We call it retinue. Many people. Many are following with you. Many are friendly with you. Right? So, in the meeting, he says how he treats to these people. As a leader of the country, or that group, how do you treat? And he said, I am always treating them equally. I am always treating them very pleasant way. I listen to them. If there's anybody who is having problems, I should try to help them to solve those problems. As a good leader, I look into their problems and try to help them out. So, he was not lying to Buddhasadhu. This is what he did. And also when he is in the leadership, when he needs certain actions to take, he plays the role of that leader. Other times, he could be a friend, he could be a protector, he could be a helper, many different ways. Not like today. Today there are some leaders that we cannot reach them, right? Once they become that leadership, higher position, they are far away from us. But ancient time, they are very good leaders. We have, I think your parents know the stories. Certain kings, ancient time, they were ruling the country. When they were ruling the country, they did not just depend on their people that who bring the information. They went themselves, they want to find out what do people know, talk about me. Sometimes people talk about the king, right? They are leaders. When they hear something negative, they make a note of it. King goes in disguised manner. People don't know who he was, and they listen. If the king hears something negative, they come back and they find out. Next day, he bring the person, put a mark on that particular door, and ask his people to go and bring that person. Not to punish, but find out why were you crying, or why were you saying this? Why were you unhappy? So he inquired himself. Today there are people, if the leader is, he has the people who bring information to him. They may be just to please your leader, that, your president or your member of parliament, or they will just praise them, not telling the truth. Right? It is not nice. That's why those in ancient time, kings went by themselves and hear people what they talk about him. So there are several stories. And also when they do meritorious practice, spiritual practices, they also did by themselves. They want to do it not to get help from the other people, not to get money from the other people do it, but they really wanted to work hard by themselves and earn money and do it. So they were nice people in the history. We hear that stories. I believe that those are true stories to motivate us to be righteous, to do the right thing. However, in the story of Alavi, Buddha, after listening to him, he taught these things. Later on, sometimes, we have to have these things. Dana. Next one is Priya Vachana. Dana is charity, right? So a lot of things that we can do by, by practicing charity. And priyavachana means pleasant word. Any of you like to hear abusive word? See now, in the category that when we learn, in the precepts, we always say musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, right? But that's not the only thing. Verbally, there are 3 other mistakes that we do. What are they? If any of you remember. Yes. Yes. That is most of the time what you hear. We always hear that gossip. Gossip is not going to benefit any of us, either you or me, so we are not benefiting from that. There are 2 others. Harsh. Parusavacha. Musavada means lying. Parusavacha means harsh or rude language. We are not supposed to engage in use such words. Yes. Could be. I don't know right word what you use. Pisuna vacha, tail tattering. Right? You are spreading rumors about the other people. You cannot do that without malicious thought in your mind. Sometimes we could be very jealous. You can divide other people. So verbally there are these 4 mistakes we can do. Remember this, precepts are very important in that sense. Musavada, pisunavacha, parusavacha, sampappalapa. Sampappalapa means gossip. So therefore, verbally, what you say, when you hear something, we should not repeat it. When you repeat, what happens? Your tone is different. Because you add something with your experiences, you add something into it. Then, whatever goes out from you could make kind of problem. So therefore, such things are not good. So we have to be very mindful. That's the key, is the mindful for our practice. So therefore, pleasant words are going to be very helpful. So you have to speak the right truth, and you have to use the very pleasant words, not the rude, harsh language, or with thoughts with maliciousness in that. So with thinking of dividing other people because you are jealous. There are 2 good friends. You won't be friendly with one of them. What you do, you can spread a rumor. If you do that, what happens? You are creating problem for them. So we are not supposed to do that. So therefore, remember, there are 4 kinds of verbal mistakes. We are not get into that. We do not want to involve in that. If you can think of that and be mindful when we are saying things, always be truthful and be pleasant. Use the pleasant words. Nobody likes to hear abuse. Abusive words we don't want to hear. And when you get angry, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you may say words that is not pleasant, right? So we have to be very mindful. Dana, piyavachana, pleasant words. Then the other one is called attacharya, something meaningful. Our behavior should be meaningful, right? Our livelihood should be something very righteous. Not something this is for all of us, even for the children, that we have to remember. We don't take anything by stealing, by sneaky way, But things that we earn, it should be, honesty is the best policy, right? In school, even though you are small children, still you can use these things in your everyday life. That means that we are living in Dhamma. We to live in Dhamma. So we are from our childhood, we grow up as an adult. Still, once you train yourself as a child, we can continue it in our lives. So we can be very happy about ourselves by learning according to Dhamma. Learning the Dhamma and practicing it everyday life. Attacharya, behavior is meaningful. So there are many things we can do. Even though you are in your classroom or at home, so when we do, this may not happen all the time, but you may have time that you can share with your amma or with your tata or with your brother or sister. So meaningfully spend your time, not just to waste your time and spending. I'm not telling you that not to watch TV or not to relax sometimes. We all have to do that. Managing time is an important thing. So time we should be using meaningfully. And the other one Buddha Sadhu said was, fourth one is called samanattata, equally. It's a hard thing. Sometimes we become biased, right? Become biased because our attitudes. We all have different kinds of attitudes. So therefore, we have to think about it. Remember now, Metta Sutta, if we recite, when you recite, I think I always encourage people to recite Metta Sutta, Discourse in Loving Kindness. In English, you can read it. Here, Buddha Sadhu says, even to a person who has done something wrong to you, you must be able to forgive. Right? Is that true? Yes. In the Metta Sutta, Buddha Sadhu says about it. We should not wish any harm even to an enemy. If we do so, do we have metta in us? No, right? So we have been becoming weak in it. Weak practitioner. So therefore what he said was, strengthen ourselves. Make ourselves strong. Na anyamanyasa dukkhang icchaya. That's what he says in Pali. We should not wish any harm to anyone, even to the person who may have done something mean to you. So in your classrooms, you may feel there may be someone who was kind of attitude-wise very mean. So when you see it, this is a good opportunity for me to practice. Right? So that's the chance that you have to practice. So things when we see, we have to pick up. That's the challenge. You're always nice. But remember, when somebody comes and says something, you will get upset. Right? So that means anger in you. That weakness is still with you. That person is giving you an opportunity for you to practice. If we can turn around that situation and see, wow, this person is helping me. My brother is mirroring me, helping me to see myself. My sister is helping me to see myself. Then you should not get upset, but you should be in your heart, you can be very thankful to that person. Right? So by practicing so, what we do is, we can bring our mind that bias conditions we can reduce. So little by little we practice. We may not be perfect, but slowly, we can reduce those weaknesses that we have. Okay? So, equally, samanattata means, so we are, that's, I think in your school also you get sometimes read about these things, right? Equality. We must be able to treat everyone equally. But unfortunately, it does not happen all the time, right? There are situations because of, maybe I want to help my friend. So then I'm going to be biased when you look at the other children, right? So that happens. We have to admit that. We have to remember it. So, but let me try myself. Let me work. This is a weakness that I have. So therefore, I can treat everyone equally in my class. So this is what Buddha said. It's a hard work, remember. Not easy work, but not impossible. It's a possible work. So therefore, we all have to keep these things in our mind. So 4 things that you have to remember. Dana, generosity or charity, right? Priyavachana, pleasant words. So we have to remember those other negative sides of those words that we have. Verbal skills. So we have to turn around and use the good skills we have to develop. Not to use harsh or rude language or curse words that you always hear. Slang words that they are not pleasant. So therefore we have to pick up pleasant words. Be mindful to use pleasant words, right? So our behavior should be very meaningful. Things that we do should be meaningful. Okay? And last one is equality. So these are things that we talk in our society, that we always hear. These are not easy but hard, but if we be mindful, definitely we can build up. These positivities are able to build up. Then we will not have to look back in our life with having that tears in our eyes. Right? So if we do that way, if we train ourselves, so definitely we have lived in the Dhamma. So as people who are practicing Dhamma, we can go into that category. Remember, I always say that, Dhamma is not in the temple. Of course, we learn Dhamma in the temple. Dhamma should be in everyday life, right? Is that true? It should be in everyday life. Hard work. As children, we know that you like to go around, run around, be happy, engage in activities, games and things. I'm not saying not to do any of those things, right? Be happy, engage in them, but when we engage in those things, you have to be very mindful what kind of language we are supposed to use. What's the way that I should be treating my friends that engage in those activities. So therefore, remember these opportunities, those situation creates an opportunity for you to practice Dhamma. That's the important thing. Okay? So I'm not going to go more than this. Now I'm going to let you bring your ideas or any questions, if you have any. Sometimes you may have good examples too. Anybody? There are a lot of also, yes. What? Say it again.
What are we doing in a situation where we encounter someone who isn't as good as a human as a human? Like, how do we treat them?
There could be different personalities, definitely. So if you think, so now you are the one who is there and you are supposed to look at it and pick it up. And no matter how much you say, there are people they don't understand. What can you do? So good way to practice is this person's understanding level is different. So therefore, getting involved in this conversation is meaningless. So you can avoid it. Buddha also did that. Buddha observed silence sometimes, right? Noble silence. He did not want to answer it. The reason is that person cannot understand. Mental capacity was not there. What he said was, remember, either you observe noble silence or engage in meaningful conversation. If the conversation is not going to be meaningful, he did not engage in it. I think that's the example that we have. So we should be practicing the same thing. Anybody else? So if we do not have questions, so we can invite Dhamma to come and do the blessing, finish the blessing part. So let's do. Now, we are very happy. I was kind of, only 4 children were here when I came here. So I thought maybe we are going to miss many of you. So anyway, now, so from this evening, from our discussion, only 4 things that if you remember, for next time, these 4 words, Dana, Priyavachana, Attacharya, Samanatata. Dana means generosity, charity. Priyavachana means pleasant words, right? And the other one is right, live, meaningful behavior, right? And the other one, equality. Treating equally everyone. So that could be only 4 things. Remember this. For next time, you can, when you go home, you can write it down and start thinking about this. So then you can practice. This should be every day, something that practicing every day. If you cannot remember, you may not be able to practice it. So therefore, I encourage all of you to practice what you learn. Good things we should be practicing, bad things we should let go. Okay? So this is all for today. So let us do the dedication of merit. When we do learn the Dhamma, we share with our devas and also all our departed relatives. If anybody expecting any kind of spiritual help, these are called spirituality. Remember, what we are trying to build up was spirituality, not just a religious. Buddha did not teach us a religion. He was teaching us how to build up your spirituality. His teaching is for that. So therefore, let us do the dedication of merit, okay? Okay. කොහොමද? හොඳයි. සාදුකාරයක් දැන් සාදු කියන්නේ. So you Dhamma school children and the parents and also youth society, right? All of you got together this evening to bless upon children who are going back to school. This is a back to school blessing service day and children's day. So all of you who are participating here, you can be happy that I had an opportunity to learn Dhamma and practice Dhamma and refresh my memories on Dhamma. So by listening, the time that you spend here, what we call that is recharging ourselves spiritually. May all this good spiritual energy shared by all our departed relatives. If there anybody expecting any kind of spiritual help, may they rejoice his wholesomeness. By observing precepts, make offerings to the Buddha, by listening to Dhamma and offering Dhamma puja. By all these means, whatever the spiritual energy that we develop, be shared with our late relatives who are not with us anymore. If they are expecting any kind of spiritual help, may they rejoice his wholesomeness. May they all attain ultimate bliss of Nibbana. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And also all devas, we rejoice this merit. May they all attain ultimate bliss of Nibbana. May they all help people to do more and more spiritual practices. Having such aspiration, say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And also all of us, all the friends who are not here but in the Dhamma school, even though they could not participate today, may they all have good school semester. May they all have opportunity to learn, improve their understanding of this worldly material well-being. So our all education is geared towards the material well-being. May all of them be successful. And also may they be successful in their spiritual life too. May they be, in the coming year, may they have strength and courage, spiritual strength and courage to handle all the problems that they are coming on their way. And may they all be successful. Having such metta thoughts, say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, එහෙනම් වැඳ ගන්නකො. භවතු සබ්බ මංගලම් රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදාසෝ භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලම් රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදාසොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදාසොත්ති භවන්තු තේ. Thank you and තෙරුවන් සරණයි කාටත්.
Yes, children and parents, now please come here and you can get the strings and also blessed water. And meanwhile, this year we prepared a uniform for our Dhamma school students. And parents, you can have your child or children's uniform. All uniforms are in the dining hall. You can choose your own one according to the size. එහෙමනම් අපි දහම් පාසල පටන් ගන්නවා ලබන 9 වෙනිදා. 9th, this coming 9th, we are going to start our Dhamma school new semester. All you are welcome. And inform your friends too. Okay? Thank you very much. Please now come forward.